of the Council for National Defense and Security. Good afternoon, dear colleagues. We have good news tonight, within the framework of the peace plan of the President of Ukraine. 12 Ukrainian military who were taken hostage were released, and this work does not stop for an hour, and maximum efforts is being applied. The measures are continuing to fortify the systems of defense in Mariupol. The situation is stable in the city. ATO forces, with an active support of citizens, provide for its protection and defense. At the same time, the territories, in spite of the agreements in Minsk about stopping the fire, continue to shell the positions of the anti-terrorist operation and residential houses from different kinds of weapons. And the greatest activity of terrorists is observed in the vicinity of Donetsk airport and also near the cities of Debaltseve and Shasta. Another attempt to storm the airport began 2 hours ago, and our military have successfully repelled the attack. At 10:50 a.m., the militants started to shell the settlement of Avdiivka. They also have more than once shelled Talakivka next to Mariupol. Thanks God, we didn't sustain any losses during the last 24 hours. The Russian mercenaries are continuing active reconnaissance of borderline, and also they observe the positions, they are watching the positions of the anti-terrorist operation forces. Yesterday, next to the Shevchenko in Donetsk region, the Ukrainian bodyguards detected a hidden point of observation point on the direction of the movement of border patrols. Also, in the vicinity of Talakivka, Sartana, Gnutovo Donetsk region, they hindered the work of the groups who were traveling in passenger cars and collected information about the positions of the anti-terrorist operation forces. There were no exchanges of fire over the last 24 hours in the border zone, as well as violations of the Ukrainian airspace. However, the Russian military continued to conduct air reconnaissance along the line of the Ukrainian-Russian border. In the north of Crimean Peninsula, the relocation of the units of the armed forces of Russian Federation are continuing. For instance, in opposite the Chongar border point, they detected the deployment of a tent settlement where up to 300 military personnel are located. Also, the Ukrainian bodyguards have observed the reinforcement of the military grouping of the Russian armed forces and relocation of armored machinery. The railway station Jankoy saw the arrival from Kerch of a train formed of 30 railway platforms with armored machinery, up to 30 APCs and trucks. In the training center of the National Guards of Ukraine in Zolochiv, there were night training shooting from machine guns. According to our data, the leadership of the terrorist organization LNR seeks the opportunity to re-switch the gas system of the region and get the gas from Russia and to switch off the northern districts that are under control of Ukrainian power. In Alchevsk, one of the illegal armed formations declared general mobilization of men from 18 to 50 years of age. Also, they are introducing the curfew from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. in Alchevsk. As of the 27th of September, because of the shelling of militants and bad weather, the electricity supply is absent or partially absent in 141 settlements of Donetsk region. We continue the repairs works. The General Secretary of the UN, Ban Ki-moon, during his meeting on Saturday with the head of the Russian Foreign Ministry, has personally called upon Lavrov to influence the militants. Russia has to use all the opportunities of its possibility of its influence on militants in the east of Ukraine. And Ban Ki-moon also promised to continue the dialogue with world leaders in the direction of the peaceful settlement of crisis in Ukraine. The Minister of Foreign Affairs of Estonia, Urmas Paets, said that Estonia will issue visas in a simplified way to people who live in conflict zones of Ukraine and want to go to their relatives in Estonia. You said that there are no Ukrainian soldiers were killed last day, but there was also an information. What about the wounded? And do you confirm that Russian military are in Donetsk in some talks? Yes, 3 Ukrainian military were wounded. As far as the visit of Russian military to Donetsk, we don't have any information so far. Any other questions, colleagues? I have the question, one about the map. Today, during the Mariupol, the number of the symbols that show shelling have become bigger. In Mariupol, or rather around Mariupol, we see shelling of Ukrainian positions. However, they are not too dense, and the number of shellings is just geographical. Yes, there were shellings, but their density and intensity has fallen down. Another question, please. Have the militants started to remove their artillery in accordance with the agreements in Minsk? At the moment, the joint group composed of Ukrainian and Russian military and representatives of LACE are studying the situation, and the talks are going on with the militants. There's a progress in this direction, but there are some groups that do not obey any authority and act on their own. We see that it is they who are shelling our positions. If we don't have any other questions, thank you, Mr. Lysenko. The next